Mandatory vaccinations or forced inoculations sounds like something out of some sort of futuristic sci-fi horror film where humankind is treated like animals. And I wish this was the thing of science fiction, but sadly, it's becoming a reality right now here today. Some of you may recall just last month I put out this video. The government wants mandatory vaccines for your children, what you need to know. And we pointed out that you know you're living under tyrannical when forced inoculations are mandated as law. Residents of British Columbia, Canada are now one step closer to living out this Orwellian nightmare as the nanny state is taking incremental steps to make vaccines mandatory in BC schools. Well, that's here in Canada where they're just kind of talking about it. They're just kind of making the moves to get in that direction. Well, check out what's happening in New York City today, folks. They are just flat out going for it. They just decided to do it. New York City orders mandatory vaccines in Brooklyn amid measles outbreak. So joining us on the line to break this one down for us is our East Coast correspondent, Leigh Stewart. Leigh, thank you so much for joining us here today. This is huge, crazy breaking news. I can't believe we've actually come to this point where they can announce, yes, mandatory vaccines are going to be the thing. What did you first think when you heard this outrageous news?
I thought it was quite a coincidence that they've been scrubbing anti-vaxxer information from YouTube, from social media. They've been digitally book burning any information about anti-vaccines. And then this comes on the coattails where they're forcing vaccines on people. I mean, this should not be a decision by the government. This should be a decision by the individual. And to force vaccines on people, I mean, this is just, like you said, Orwellian. And this is the stuff that we reread in 1984. I mean, the fact that the government, New York State specifically, and New York City, that they want to force vaccines, and they also just legalized full-term abortions. I mean, this is just outrageous. And I do know that a lot of religious backgrounds are fighting back against this, and I hope that they are, in fact, successful.
Well, they seem to have been targeting specifically the Jewish community in a certain area, a certain area code where there is a lot of people who have, learned all about the dangers of vaccines, and they're questioning vaccines, and they've, kind of joined the anti-vax movement, if you will. And they're the ones who are essentially being targeted for vaccinations. This just out from CBC. New York City orders mandatory vaccines in Brooklyn amid measles outbreak. It says New York City declared a public health emergency Tuesday due to a measles outbreak and ordered mandatory vaccinations in one neighborhood for people who may have been exposed to the virus. Mayor Bill de Blasio announced the unusual order amid what he says was a measles crisis in Brooklyn's Williamsburg section, where more than 250 people, mostly members of the ultra-Orthodox Jewish religious community, have gotten measles since September. The order applies to anyone living or working or going to school in 4 zip codes in the neighborhood. The declaration requires all unvaccinated people who may have been exposed to the virus to get the vaccine, including children over 6 months. And here's the one that really bugged me, Leigh. People who ignore the order could be fined $1,000 US. The city said it would help everyone be covered by the order to get vaccines if they can't get it quickly enough. But here, what Blasio said, if people will just simply cooperate quickly, no one's going to have to pay the fine. So if you would just, submit to government, look, just do what we're telling you to do. And you won't have to be extorted. That's essentially what that sounds like to me. What are your thoughts? Doesn't that sound kind of intimidating to you, Leigh? And draconian?
Yeah, it's the fear-mongering that we've been hearing a buzz about for the past few years. They tried this with the H1N1. They tried this with Zika. They tried this with Ebola, and no one was budging. No one was taking the vaccine. They even tried Walmart incentives for people to try to comply and get the vaccine, but the people weren't budging. And now they're forcing it on people because there is a resistance. People are educated. Now with the internet, they know that vaccines are linked to autism. They know the ingredients inside vaccines, and they know that the flu shot doesn't work. So now we're seeing the government with a strong arm trying to force this on people, and it's just absolutely draconian, like you said. And I would go down kicking and screaming before I got a vaccine. Absolutely.
Yeah, me too. I mean, I'm quite happy with the fact that that I haven't received these, and I don't even know how I would handle it if the government came knocking on my door saying I'd be fined $1,000 if I didn't. I suppose I'd end up paying the fine because I'm not going to take the shot. In fact, we at Press for Truth here have largely been kind of responsible for raising a lot of this information. I can show you as far back as, look at this video I put out in over 10 years ago in 2009. Press for Truth continues coverage of the H1N1 vaccine, and wow, I was like 50 pounds the head bigger in back then, as you can see from that old YouTube video right there. But the point is, we've been exposing this for over 10 years, and I think it's safe to say that we're kind of winning the vaccine debate. I mean, there was also this that came out. There was this vaccine campaign that was exposed. There was this girl who went on Facebook. She said her kid contacted the measles because of another kid who didn't have vaccines. And I exposed the fact that this lady was working for Big Pharma, and it was all coming down from Big Pharma. So really, this has been a part of the agenda for quite some time. And now that people are just not accepting it, they're taking the drastic measures of literally just forcing it onto people. I don't want to see this set a precedent, obviously, but considering the hysteria and the hype and the brainwashing surrounding this issue, do you think, and God forbid, that this might pick up some traction and some other towns other than New York might want to get involved and do the same thing?
It could, and this is what I feared about the full-term abortions as well, is that other states would follow, and God forbid this comes to Canada, because as religious people reject this, you used to be able to opt out of having a vaccine when children were, going to these indoctrination camps called school. I don't think that this should be forced on by government. I think this should be an individual choice, like I said. And, knowing what is in these vaccines, even the flu shot, have been proven not to work. And it's I think people were even, the people that were contracting the measles had already had the measles vaccine. So I don't think there's any correlation between the measles and getting vaccines. I think they're just using this as a scapegoat to force people's hand in getting the vaccine. And it's very unfortunate. And I hope that we can kind of nip this one in the bud. And like I said, anti-vaxxers are being scrubbed off the internet for any sort of information regarding the dangers of vaccines. So I hope, like I said, this doesn't become implemented in Canada. And I encourage people to fight against this 100%.
Yeah, me too. We have to push back against this hard. I mean, they're pushing back against us. As you said, the information is being highly suppressed. If you are interested in vaccine information, if you want to learn about the risks and learn more about vaccine injury, they're trying to remove those searches from the internet. They're trying to make it so that you cannot access that information. There's a great documentary called Vax that was recently pulled from Amazon streaming service. Just like that, because it's literally going against the status quo. And when you do that nowadays, folks, you're a target. You're a target of the oligarchy and the elite, especially when you're trying to stop their soft kill eugenics program. So I want to strongly encourage everybody to speak out about this, reject this. if this does come to your town, do what you got to do. Hold town hall meetings, get people together and let them know that this is not acceptable. This isn't 1984. This isn't some Orwellian nightmare where you are being forced by the government, forced inoculations by the government. It's just pure insanity. And I can't believe we've come to this point today, but here we are. So folks, we really need you to share this information. Click the thumbs up button on this one. Share this one with your friends and family, because as we know, YouTube's going to suppress this information. They're a part of the problem when it comes to raising awareness about the possible dangerous effects of vaccines. So we're going to need your help to spread this information. Click the thumbs up button, share this one far and wide, and join us on all these other decentralized blockchain-based platforms like DLive and Steemit and DTube and BitChute and Mine, these other ones, so that they can't suppress this information going forward. And if you want to learn about vaccines, you can do so somewhere like there. Yeah, that's it for today, guys. We just wanted to bring that one to your attention. Crazy what's going on over there in New York. Leigh, any final thoughts, I guess, on this whole mandatory vaccine thing and the people of New York? God, I feel bad for them right now, but any final thoughts on what we need to do moving forward?
We are in an information war, and they are striking us hard. They're striking us down hard. And what I would suggest is not only taking this information online, but it's time to get back to grassroots. Start hitting boots to the ground and spreading this information in your communities. Get out there in the physical form, the information, pass this on to your friends and relatives. And like I said, grassroots, let's get this back into the physical form and not just leave this to online.
And don't be afraid to speak out. You're not alone. There's a lot of other people who question the safety of vaccines. And I know, a lot of people who are on the fence about it might be worried about, being looked at as a conspiracy theorist or an anti-vaxxer from their friends who are into this. But don't fear that. They'll get it eventually, and you'll be seen as a pioneer who did the right thing. So that's it for today, guys. Unbelievable that we've come to the point of having mandatory vaccines in New York. They're pushing for it here in Canada. Let's not let that happen. So click the thumbs up button, guys. Please share this video around with your friends and family. Get the word out that this is indeed happening. And I want to thank you once again, Leigh, for joining us here today and helping us break this one down. And I want to thank you guys for watching. Stay tuned. We're going to have more video reports coming soon. This is Dan Dix and Leigh Stewart reporting for Press for Truth. We all want truth. The truth will set you free.